Big news coming in regards to Cunha to Manchester United, a player that if you've been following my channel, you know I like him. I think he's perfect. He's the name I always talk about, who United should bring in to solve the attack. But the biggest worry was, would Cunha want to come to United with the mess we're in? Well, apparently he does, and we've got a big boost in regards to that deal. Delap news, Delap very clear, United's #1 priority. They will compete with Chelsea for Delap. 102 million for Delap and Cunha. Why does this change a lot? We're going to talk about Manchester United's plans because there's also links to Victor Osimhen and Garnacho being involved to maybe bring Victor Osimhen in because Delap could go to Chelsea. And let's be honest, Osimhen and Cunha, that would be absolutely crazy. I think in an ideal world we get Cunha, Osimhen, and Delap, and then obviously Rashford, Anthony, Sancho, and Garnacho would go out to fund that because that would be the attacking rebuild. I mean, that would be crazy. But then I guess we'd probably have to do something with Højlund if we bring in Delap and Osimhen. I mean, that would be crazy stuff. You know, Delap 40 million, Osimhen 58 million, Cunha 62 million. That's talking about 160 million. But United know that they need to rebuild the attack. I spoke about it in my live stream earlier. Jason Wilcott's Vivel have pinpointed reinforcements in attack as the priority. We also have a great wonder kid in JJ Gabriel. United trying to sign him down, keep him at the club. And obviously Casemiro, he could raise some funds this summer because not only do we need to improve the attack, but we need a midfielder that can progress the ball. We probably need another centre-back for depth, and we probably need another wing-back. So let's start with this Cunha news. Manchester United are interested in signing Wolves forward Matheus Cunha. He has a 62.5 million release clause and is also of interest to Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. Now, despite Nottingham Forest set to be in Champions League football and better than us, it's believed that Cunha would rather go to a Manchester United or an Arsenal. Interestingly, Arsenal needs a striker and a winger rather than someone like Cunha, who is more of a 10, whereas we kind of need more of a 10, but particularly a wider 10, which suits Cunha, but we could also play him up top. He does suit our system a lot better than Arteta's. I've always said United have had interest in Cunha from the get-go. We like the player. We've had interest in him for a long time. And that's one of the reasons I speak about him a lot. You know, I would love Musiala at United, but we don't have interest because we never believe that's going to happen. I'm sure we have interest, but we know that's not going to happen. There's always been a belief inside United that they could get a Cunha. You know, they like Cunha. I mean, João Pedro's another player that I wouldn't be shocked if we went for, but I think Cunha is the focus, with him being a left 10 and Ahmad being the right 10. Ahmad, Cunha, Osimhen, look at that front three. That would be unreal. A move to Manchester United appeals to Matheus Cunha. A lack of Champions League football should United not win the Europa League would not deter the player. All I'm saying is my biggest fear is Cunha wouldn't want to come to us, but it looks like from Ben Jacobs that even without Europa League football, Cunha is open to the Man United move. We know he wants out of balls, and he's flirted with Man United a lot. Last summer, he was flirting with the idea of going to United. A couple months ago, he liked the comment like join Manchester United. For me, Matheus Cunha, and I've said it a million times, I think he's just perfect. He gets goals, he gets assists, he can carry the ball, he's got the physicality, he's got the speed, he's done it in the Premier League, and he literally suits the left 10 role to a T. It's not like it's a winger and we're going to play him as a left 10 more inside. He does that role. The only question around it is him losing his head, getting some red cards, you know, him sort of, you know, the way that I can understand why Wolves fans don't like him because he almost speaks as if he's better than Wolves. I get those concerns, but as a player, to perform it with poor players around you, that's something you need to do at Man United. Cunha can do that. Another player I really like but don't love, but would be really happy if we signed him, but wouldn't be my #1, is Delap. Manchester United have made Liam Delap their #1 striker target this summer. Manchester United will rival Chelsea for Liam Delap this summer after identifying him ahead of Gyökeres, Sesko, Victor Osimhen as the solution to their goal-scoring problems. Now, for me, I'm a big fan of Delap. I like Delap. He's not my #1 though. Osimhen and Cunha would be ahead of him in the list, but I think Delap 40 million, he's better than Højlund, he's an improvement on what we have. I'm happy, not going to complain. Delap with Cunha, as I said in my live show earlier, I'm happy. Delap and Dibbling, I'm worried. Dibbling isn't proven. Delap and Cunha, I'm happy because Cunha's proven. At least one of them's a proven scorer, and Delap's got 12 Premier League goals this season for a relegated Ipswich. I think that's a decent bit of business if we signed both Delap and Cunha, let's just say. But we've got to prioritise Gyökeres and Osimhen if we can. We've got to prioritise them. I know they're a bit more expensive, but sell Garnacho if need be, if you need a fund to move like that, because I don't think he's in Amorim's long-term plans. Now, Delap apparently has been in Amorim's long-term plans. Liam Delap is on Manchester United's list for the summer. Delap was targeted by Ruben Amorim last summer for Sporting, was interesting news being reported. It came out, and it's actually quite reported last year, that he was seen as maybe Gyökeres' backup and potentially the one to replace Gyökeres when he would leave. So clearly, this is a player that Amorim would like. He was scouted by Sporting. For me, it's between us and Chelsea for Delap. I think if we can get him, we'll get him. But he might go to Chelsea, even though it makes more sense for him to move to United. You can't compete with Chelsea in the window. Delap and Cunha, I think, really fixes the attack. But I still think Victor Osimhen is that 20 goal a season goal scorer, and we need that 20 goal season goal scorer. We've signed a lot of project strikers, Delap, Højlund, Xerxes. I need someone that's a proven goal scorer. Do you know what I mean? It was said that United joined the race for Delap, but Chelsea is seen as the front runners. Osimhen to Chelsea suits their system better, and Delap suits our system better. But this is Chelsea, young player. They're going to chase Delap. Osimhen is one of the alternatives to Delap, and United could sell Garnacho to Napoli as part of a deal to sign the Nigerian striker from the Italians. It's mad that he's an alternative. Maybe he's an alternative because they believe he wants to go to Saudi for the money and not Man United. But I surely think he should be the priority and Delap should be the alternative. But I do think if Saudi offered Osimhen more on wages than we do, he would choose Saudi over us. I do think he's more interested in a big wage right now, Victor Osimhen, if I was going to be totally honest. But him, Cunha, Delap, that is the way to rebuild the attack. We've got Ahmad right 10, Cunha left 10, Osimhen in the middle. That's very good. Delap, I'm happy with him coming in because if we can't get an Osimhen, but we've got to try for a Victor Osimhen. This is what I said. If we can't get Victor Osimhen or Gyökeres, go for Delap. He's an upgrade on Højlund, though still raw, so pair him with a proven 10 like Cunha. Delap and Dibbling would worry me. Delap plus goal scoring 10, not so much. Would also push for Jonathan David. Ideally, Victor Osimhen, but of course, Jonathan David. Also, everyone gets annoyed at me because I said Osimhen and everyone said it was wrong, and then I said Osimhen and everyone said it's wrong. So I'm sorry if I keep pronouncing Osimhen wrong, because every time I pronounce it a different way, someone's told me I said it wrong. And now I'm just in the habit of saying the H, which apparently you're meant to say. So Osimhen. I don't know if I'm saying it right, so I apologise. It was also said Delap is a good player, but leading the line for Man United is a huge ask at 22. We've made this mistake before. He's 4 or 5 days younger than Cunha. Not Cunha, Højlund. I think he's 8 days younger than Højlund. He's like basically a week younger than Højlund. Delap. That's all I'm going to say. He's at Ipswich. He's doing great, but Ipswich to United is a big jump. Now, I liked under Fergie, we'd sign players from lesser Premier League clubs that were the best players at the clubs, and they'd come to Manchester United, but they were coming to a more stable Man United environment under Fergie. Whereas I think we don't have the most stable environment, that you've got to have that element of mentality, and that's my only worry. But you pair him with a proven scorer at 10, like Cunha, I think he works very well. And I think one thing we didn't do under Ten Hag is go for Premier League proven. I know it's more expensive, but we lack to be able to compete physically under Ten Hag, and I think Premier League proven is underrated. I think it's underrated. So Cunha 62 million, Delap 40 million. That's 102 million. That improves the attack. That changes a lot. Why does that change a lot? Because we're clearly improving under Amorim. We're controlling games much better, and we did enough to beat Forest and Man City last week. We just didn't create enough or put the ball in the back of the net. Outside of Bruno and Ahmad, we don't have that quality in the final third. We don't have a goal scorer. What's let us down so much this season is actually we look better in terms of shape and possession, but we just cannot put the ball in the back of the net. We do not have that final third quality. Nobody's got the brain or on the wavelength as Bruno. Nobody can really score goals. Both Garnacho and Højlund went over 20 games in a row without a goal. Delap and Cunha are 2 Premier League goal scorers. Cunha's doing it by himself at Wolves a lot of the time, and Delap, with little service, could bring much needed goals. He's not a 20-goal season striker, Delap, but 12 goals at Ipswich at his age is very good. Attacking movement and creativity that both Delap and Cunha bring is better than Garnacho's movement and IQ. It's better than Højlund's movement right now. I still think there's a very good player in Højlund, but as of now, I do think Delap is better. We also have a fantastic 14-year-old in JJ Gabriel that could definitely be one for the future. He actually made his under-18s debut last week and scored 2 goals. It has been reported by Samuel Luckhurst that United have fast-tracked JJ Gabriel into the under-18 setup to try and help him stay. But sources said he wouldn't have been promoted if he didn't have the quality, and pointed out his 2 goals vindicated the call. Let's hope we can keep him. And it was also said that Casemiro is expected to be sold for 15 to 17 million euros. That's obviously, we need to get at least 17 million euros to clear off his book value or make a loss. We know that we're looking to, of course, offload Casemiro, but the player himself wants to stay and has recently become of more use under Ruben Amorim. Anyway, that is all your latest Manchester United news rounded up into 10 minutes. Exciting stories on Cunha. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.